Lauren Thomas, it's Friday, September 9th. I'm actually filming this a day early. I'm running a little bit late. I have band practice tonight, so while I film this, I'm actually going to be cooking dinner as well.
For the record, dinner's going to involve a lot of what you see in front of you.
So last weekend I was in Seattle, which was a lot of fun. Seattle's one of those places that, I'm sure like both of you, I've spent probably no more than 3 days in a row in Seattle at any point, but I do like the city. It's interesting, it's very similar to Vancouver in a lot of ways, but different enough that it's fun to go and get out of the city for a weekend. So while in Seattle this past weekend, I had a bit of a misconnection with an old friend, and it got me thinking a little bit. So I was there all weekend, and because it was in the States, obviously I didn't have my unlimited data plan that I have up here, so, I was keeping off the phone as much as possible. I do have pay-as-you-go data, but try and use it as little as possible. And so it's not until I get back to Vancouver that, I'm checking Facebook, checking Twitter, getting caught up and everything, and I see that a friend of mine from back in San Diego, from high school, was in Seattle all weekend, and I had no idea. And granted, he wasn't posting all over the place, a few posts here and there. He was up there for Bumbershoot, which happened this past weekend. And so, of course, I sent him a message via Twitter saying, oh, I didn't know you were in Seattle. I would have met up with you. And he responded and whatnot. But, I don't know, the whole thing kind of bummed me out a little bit. It was just a very real reminder that I don't keep in very close touch with people. And I mean, to be fair, it's not like people are, well, some people do, but for the most part, it's not like people are emailing me and I'm just not responding or choosing not to. I mean, these things happen. You live in different cities, you live different lives, and the people you've been friends with for a long time, you catch up with now and again. But in general, you just don't stay in very frequent contact with a lot of people who are not in your immediate social circle. So, that's just the way things go sometimes, and I understand that. But this was coupled with another good friend, a mutual friend actually of the one that I missed in San Diego. In a coincidence of time, I found out this week that he has moved from San Diego to Mountain View, California. Again, one of those things that was just a reminder that, if I stayed in a bit closer contact, I would know these things are happening. As it stands, it's relegated to, someone posts on Facebook, I'm living in Mountain View now, and you go, oh my god, really? The funny thing is I learn these sorts of life details not only about the people that I actually care about and want to stay in touch with, but also the people that I don't care about staying in touch with that much. Acquaintances from high school and people you took one class with in the 7th grade that have somehow ended up as your Facebook friends. And I've always thought the funny part is going to be that when we actually come time to a 10-year reunion, as I've mentioned before, it's not going to be, oh man, what have you been up to these past few years? But, hey, I saw you did that thing last weekend on Facebook. What was that like? Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's a good or a bad thing, but it's certainly going to change the dynamic of the notion of losing touch with people. The one and only. Anyway, despite the notion that, yeah, you can keep in touch without really keeping in touch, there's not much that's rewarding about that. I mean, it's one of these things where you have these factual notions of, I know so-and-so did this one thing recently. But unless it's someone you actively care about, there's not much point in paying much attention to it. And at the same time, the people you actually care about, I don't know, I'm starting to get the feeling that I should be trying a little bit harder. Anyway, I know myself, and I suspect that one of the reasons that I'm talking about this here is because, I don't know, there's some notion of accountability, a sibling accountability, if not public accountability, that, if I make any promises here about, the fact that I'm bringing up staying in touch and maybe actually changing my ways and being better about this sort of thing, it means that if I don't, I have both of you that can lay the classic Brennan guilt trip and remind me that I've got work to do as far as keeping in touch with people. I'm not saying that you have to, but knowing you probably would. I don't have any Ziploc bags at the moment, and I'm only realizing now how much I rely on them to hold on to things like half-cut onions and bell peppers. What am I supposed to do now? Anyway, I guess the whole idea of keeping in touch with people and, making sure that you keep people a presence in your lives and make sure you're a presence in theirs, I don't know, it's been on my mind a little bit recently. Which I guess is why I'm actually filming a video. As far as the fact that I haven't made videos for months goes, I do apologize. I have no excuse. Just my life actually hasn't been that interesting recently. I've been doing fine, I've been working, just hanging out, just enjoying summer, drinking some beers, making some beers. P.S. Expect this soon. I actually made a video of myself making beer, and provided that it doesn't suck because I haven't watched the video of it yet, you're gonna get a cooking lesson in beer. Preview for next week. At any rate, cooking's done and I'm ready to eat. I made kind of an ugly looking stir fry, but hopefully it tastes good. Hope you guys both had a good week. I'll see you next week.